Imagine for a second that you are holding a beautiful, perfectly static physical gift.
Okay.
Maybe it's a delicately carved crystal rose or,
Mm.
a beautifully cast metal figurine. It just sits on your shelf looking exactly as it did the day you got it.
Right, like most keepsakes.
Exactly. But what if, with just a simple tap from your smartphone, that static object suddenly spoke to you?
That changes everything.
Right. What if it instantly played a hidden video message? Or unlocked a completely secret, deeply personal digital world with just that one tap?
It completely reframes how we think about the objects we choose to keep in our homes.
Mm.
Because we are so used to this hard divide between the physical world and the digital world.
Oh, 100%.
You have your physical keepsakes on a shelf, which are beautiful, but let's be honest, they gather dust. And then you have your digital memories trapped in the cloud, scattered across thousands of camera roll photos that you rarely ever look at them.
Which is such a common frustration for so many of us. And that is exactly what we are exploring in today's deep dive. We are looking at this fascinating intersection where centuries-old craftsmanship collides head-on with modern digital technology.
It's a really unique space.
It is. We've got an incredible stack of research today. We are pulling from an in-depth article by Crystocraft titled Smart Gifts NFC, Transforming Precious Moments into Digital Time Capsules.
Great piece.
Yeah, and we are pairing that with a truly comprehensive guide that breaks down specific NFC-enhanced digital experiences for pretty much every gifting occasion you can possibly imagine.
And our mission today is to look way beyond the novelty of this, because we aren't just looking at a new tech gimmick here.
Right.
We are exploring how these phygital, meaning physical, combined with digital bridges, are fundamentally changing the way we preserve human connections, how we mark our major life milestones, and ultimately how we pass down family legacies.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the collision of eras here is just wild to me. The reading introduces this concept of techtility.
Yes.
We are talking about 470 years of Bohemia crystal heritage meeting modern NFC, or near-field communication technology. But from an engineering standpoint, how do they actually make a centuries-old craft talk to a modern smartphone?
It's tricky.
Because I'd imagine wrapping a microchip in solid metal creates some serious issues.
It creates massive issues, actually. Metal is inherently an adversary to radio frequencies. It acts almost like a shield. It blocks or scrambles the NFC signal from your phone.
So how does it work?
Well, the Crystocraft article describes a brilliant piece of proprietary engineering they call a sandwich architecture.
A sandwich architecture. How does a sandwich solve the metal problem?
Think of it like a perfectly designed window in a fortress. They have engineered a way for these radio signals to pass seamlessly through the heavy metal housings of the figurines by utilizing a highly specific radio-transparent crystal window.
Ah, I see.
The crystal is layered or sandwiched in a way that allows the NFC signal to pass right through the otherwise impenetrable metal.
So the crystal itself isn't just decorative. It's acting as the literal window for the data to travel through.
Exactly.
That is incredibly clever. It completely hides the tech. Now, speaking of the tech, the hardware doing the heavy lifting here is an NTEC 215 chip.
Right.
But I was looking at the specs, and it says this chip holds 504 bytes of storage. I have to be honest, 504 bytes sounds absolutely tiny in a world where my phone has a terabyte hard drive.
It does sound tiny.
How is that even useful?
I had the exact same thought initially, but what's fascinating here is that the 504-byte limitation isn't a flaw. It's the very thing that makes this work so well for its intended purpose. It forces a highly specific kind of interaction.
What do you mean by that? How is having less storage an advantage?
Because you aren't storing a massive 4K video directly on the chip itself, those 504 bytes are essentially acting as a digital key.
The key to the cloud.
Precisely. It's the perfect amount of space for a URL, a string of text, or a vCard, which is essentially a standardized digital business card format. The chip simply points your phone to the rich media stored securely in the cloud.
Got it.
But the crucial philosophical and technical point highlighted in our research is about how these chips are actually programmed, because you cannot program these gifts remotely.
Wait, so I can't just beam a new memory to the Crystal Rose from across the country?
No, you can't. And that is entirely by design. It requires a physical tap with a smartphone utilizing an app like NFC Tools or NXP Tag Writer to actually write or update the data.
I see. So you have to literally be holding the object, open the app, and physically write the data to the chip right then and there.
Exactly. This completely transforms a passive technological feature into a highly intentional tactile ritual. The article actually refers to this as the Momento ritual.
The Memento ritual. I like that.
From a practical standpoint, it ensures maximum security because a hacker can't remotely alter the digital soul of your keepsake. But more importantly, it requires physical presence to connect with the memory.
That makes so much sense. You can't just mindlessly scroll past it like an old photo on a social media feed.
Right.
You have to walk up to it, hold it, and perform a physical action to unlock the memory. You are physically engaging with the digital past.
It demands your attention. It creates a real moment of mindfulness around the memory.
I love that. And what blows my mind is that you don't even have to design a totally new, futuristic-looking object to use this. You can take a classic piece, any existing physical model, from a galloping horse figurine to a delicate crystal rose, and essentially upgrade it to give it this hidden digital soul.
Yes, the classic designs work beautifully.
But I know they aren't just limited to statues. The guides lay out a few really distinct material formats depending on what you want to use it for. Can you break those down for us?
Certainly. The integration of the technology is always subservient to the aesthetic of the piece, but they do offer a variety of formats. For example, there's the CrystoCoin.
The CrystoCoin.
Yes, this is designed as functional jewelry, specifically tailored for professional networking. It's subtle, but highly functional.
So instead of handing out a paper business card at a conference, you just have someone tap your jewelry.
Exactly. It's very sleek.
I love that.
Then you have enamel. This format is tough, it's colorful, and it's heavily utilized as a budget-friendly option, particularly for the massive tourist souvenir market.
Okay.
And then there is the crystal fabric format.
The crystal fabric was actually my personal favorite when looking through the research. It uses 1mm microcut crystal sand, right?
Yes, the 1mm microcut crystal sand creates what the designers call a sophisticated glow. It's highly tactile and visually stunning.
It sounds beautiful.
It really is. But regardless of whether it's a CrystoCoin, enamel, or crystal fabric, the central design challenge is always the same.
Where does the tech live?
Exactly. Where does the technology actually live? How do you present the NFC chip to the user without ruining the artistic integrity of the piece?
And there are two main ways this is handled. The first is the integrated base function.
Correct. This is where the tech is embedded directly into the base of the figurine itself. It remains completely 100% invisible until you perform that tap ritual we talked about.
So to anyone else, it just looks like a completely traditional piece of art.
Completely traditional.
Which is perfect for personal settings, like a living room mantle or a bedside table where you already know the secret function exists. You don't need a giant blinking sign saying, tap here.
Right, you already know the secret.
But what about situations where the user might not realize the object is interactive at all?
That brings us to the second option, which is the companion plaque. Instead of hiding the chip in the base, the NFC function is placed on a customized plaque right next to the figurine.
And just to clarify the intent behind this, the design guide is very specific about why you would choose the plaque over the hidden base. This is ideal to explicitly invite the user to tap to unlock the story.
Precisely. It serves as a visual cue. It bridges the gap between the physical presence of the object and the invisible digital layer waiting to be accessed.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because having a cool piece of crystal that holds a digital link is neat. But the true power is in how these tiny NFC chips are actually being used.
The real-world applications.
Yes. The guides provide an absolute masterclass in occasion gifting. They break down a massive variety of ways this visual bridge is being applied to almost every major life event. I want to spend some real time diving into these because some of these ideas completely change the concept of gift giving.
Let's do it.
Let's start with romance and weddings.
Weddings are a perfect use case for this technology. We've all been to a wedding where there's a beautiful paper guest book that everyone signs, and then it inevitably ends up stuffed in a drawer for the next 30 years.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't even tell you where my own wedding guest book is right now.
Right. So the guide highlights the concept of the digital guest book. Imagine a beautiful crystal swan at the reception. Guests literally tap it with their phones.
Okay.
That tap opens a portal where they can sign a virtual guest book, leave video messages, or even update their RSVP. Post-event, the couple can access all those heartfelt video messages aggregated into one album just by tapping that same swan on their coffee table at home.
That is infinitely better than a paper book. You actually get to hear their voices and see their faces.
Exactly.
And the beautiful thing is that this concept evolves over time. For anniversaries, the guide suggests creating memory timelines.
Memory timelines are fantastic.
You tap the gift, and it unlocks a multi-year photo and video timeline. You could have location pins on a map of special trips you've taken together, or a Spotify playlist of your songs. And crucially, because the chip is rewritable via that app we mentioned, you can rewrite it annually to add the new memories from that specific year.
It becomes a living record of the relationship. It's not just a snapshot of year 1. It grows into year 10, 20, and beyond.
Right.
And for something like Valentine's Day, it can be deeply personal. The research mentions an intimate journal use case, a tap reveals daily love notes, or a password-protected private photo vault. They even suggest programming it with a heartbeat audio recording.
Wait, a heartbeat audio recording inside a crystal figurine?
Yes, you can record the audio of a heartbeat, upload it securely, and link it to the chip.
That is beautifully profound. Imagine handing that down. Okay, shifting gears a bit to childhood and family milestones, I can see this technology becoming an absolute treasure trove for parents.
Oh, without a doubt.
For a new baby or a baby shower, the guide outlines baby milestones. You could have a nursery-themed keepsake that, when tapped, unlocks the ultrasound scans, a height and weight growth tracker, or even a soothing lullaby playlist.
What's remarkable there is how the value of the object changes over time.
How so?
You start with ultrasound photos, but as the child grows, you update the chip. Suddenly, it holds their first steps, their first words.
That's incredible. And for birthdays, the element of surprise is fantastic. They describe surprise messages.
I love this one.
A tap could reveal an augmented reality, or AR, birthday card with digital confetti appearing in your living room through your phone's camera. Or a photo carousel featuring an age progression filter.
Or for Mother's Day or Father's Day, you could do daily affirmations.
Well, nice.
Imagine a mother tapping a crystal flower on her desk at work every morning to hear rotating voice messages from her kids saying, "I love you because," and then the message plays. Or it could hold a digitized, curated family recipe collection, so the famous secret sauce recipe is never lost.
That recipe idea is brilliant. Now, if we move beyond purely personal family moments, how does this translate to the professional world?
If we connect this to the bigger picture of life transitions and professional achievements, the applications become incredibly pragmatic while still retaining that emotional core. Take graduations, for example.
Yes. The guides call this the career launcher.
Right.
You give a graduate a premium piece of art, but when they tap it, it unlocks their optimized LinkedIn profile, a polished resume PDF, or even the audio and video of their actual commencement speech.
It's essentially a professional networking tool disguised as a luxury keepsake.
Exactly. And similarly, for a housewarming gift, they propose a smart home portal.
Oh, the smart home portal.
I love this one. Because right now, the standard procedure when you visit a new house is having your friend flip over a dusty Wi-Fi router to read you a 16-character string of random letters and numbers.
It's a terrible user experience.
It really is. But with a smart home portal, you tap a beautifully designed art piece in the new entryway, and it instantly reveals the home's guest Wi-Fi password.
So convenient.
It could also open a curated neighborhood guide for local restaurants, or even provide the QR codes needed to set up the smart devices in the house. It's incredibly welcoming, but highly functional.
I would absolutely buy that just to avoid the Wi-Fi router dance. Same here. And then at the other end of the career spectrum, you have retirements and farewells.
Yes, the Legacy Archive.
A beautiful corporate gift that holds a 30-year career highlight reel, a video montage of colleague testimonials, or even a direct secure login link to their pension or 401k portal.
It honors their service in a way a generic watch just can't.
Right.
And for corporate awards, instead of just a brass plaque that sits on a desk doing nothing, you have an achievement badge.
How does that work?
It links to the official award certificate PDF, generates a pre-populated LinkedIn post so the employee can easily share their milestone with their network, and could even link to a live performance metrics dashboard.
That's super smart. We also have to talk about travel, holidays, and remembrance, because the research goes incredibly deep here, and I think this is where the emotional resonance really peaks.
I agree.
For travel, remember those budget-friendly enamel pieces we mentioned earlier? They can be used as a trip companion. Right. You buy a smart souvenir at a famous landmark. Instead of just being a generic piece of painted metal, tapping it unlocks geotagged photo carousels from your specific trip.
It personalizes it.
Exactly. A custom Google Maps itinerary of where you walked that day, or exclusive drone footage of the landmark itself.
It completely revolutionizes the souvenir industry. Instead of just buying a mass-produced physical representation of a place, you are buying a physical anchor for your unique digital memories of that place.
It's a total paradigm shift.
And the holiday applications follow that exact same logic.
Right.
You could have a holiday vault for Christmas or New Year's.
Yes.
It could hold interactive family recipe books for the holiday dinner, a tracker for your New Year's resolutions, or just a shared Spotify holiday playlist that the whole family adds new songs to every year.
But the use case that carries the most profound weight is definitely the final category, which is memorial and remembrance.
Yes, the memory keeper. I really want to slow down and talk about this one because it stopped me in my tracks when reading the guides. When you lose someone, the physical objects they leave behind become incredibly precious.
They do.
A watch, a favorite figurine, but they are silent.
They're silent, and over time, the vividness of the person who owned them can start to fade in our minds. By integrating NFC, a beautiful tribute portrait or a crystal keepsake can offer so much more.
What kind of things can it hold?
It can hold eulogy audio. It can provide a direct link to a shared Google Photos album where friends and family all over the world can contribute pictures.
That's
It
beautiful.
can even trigger a candle lighting augmented reality experience, complete with a virtual guest book for mourners who couldn't attend the service.
That is incredibly powerful. Just the thought of being able to tap a keepsake on a difficult day and instantly hear a grandparent's voice again or see a video of them laughing, it gives me chills. It transforms an object of grief into an active source of comfort.
It does. It ensures that their digital legacy is anchored to something tangible and beautiful in the real world.
So what does this all mean? We've covered dozens of use cases today, jumping from Wi-Fi passwords and tour souvenirs all the way to eulogies and baby milestones. Looking at all of this source material, how do we distill this down? What is the grand takeaway for you, the listener, who might just be hearing about this digital concept for the first time?
The fundamental takeaway is that we are witnessing a massive shift in how we perceive the lifespan and the inherent value of a physical object.
A massive shift.
Historically, the value of a physical keepsake peaked the very moment you received it. From that day forward, it was subject to the elements. It could fade in the sun, it could chip, it could be boxed up.
And eventually, the story behind it might be completely forgotten by the next generation.
Exactly. Its value degraded over time.
It was a static moment in time, frozen and inevitably slowly decaying.
Precisely. But now, these gifts are explicitly designed to act as digital gateways. The physical object is guaranteed to hold those memories securely for the next 50 years.
And rather than degrading, its emotional value actually compounds.
Right. As the digital archive inside it expands year after year, as you add the new anniversary photos, the new baby milestones, the new holiday recipes, the physical object becomes infinitely more precious to the owner.
It's all about dynamic ownership. I love that the guides emphasize that these NFC chips are rewritten pre-gift by the giver to create that initial magical personalization.
That first surprise.
Right. But post-gift, the owner takes over. The owner is the one constantly updating it via those smartphone apps. It changes the nature of a gift entirely. It goes from being a static monument of a single day into a living, evolving diary that travels through life with you.
It bridges the permanence and the dignity of traditional, centuries-old craftsmanship with the boundless, ever-evolving nature of digital memory. It ensures that the stories we actually care about don't just sit on a shelf gathering dust, but are actively engaged with, updated, and seamlessly passed along to the next generation.
It really makes you look at every single object currently sitting in your house differently, doesn't it? Suddenly a plain statue just feels, well, empty.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the evolution of occasion gifting, the engineering marvel of Techtility, and the future of memory preservation. We've covered a massive amount of ground today, from 470-year-old crystal craftsmanship to the tiny NTAG 215 chips secretly housing our most precious unseen moments.
Before we go, this raises an important question, and we want to leave you with a thought to mull over. We've talked a lot about how these objects hold memories for others, but if a single, small physical object could hold the digital footprint of your entire life's milestones evolving and updating as you age, what physical item would you choose to act as your ultimate personal time capsule, and what is the very first memory you would program into it today?